On June 6, 2011, one of the worst things that could happen happened. The 125-year-old church building of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick, Maine, was destroyed in an electrical fire. Historic, irreplaceable stained glass windows that were handmade were severely damaged. The sanctuary in the front of the church sustained both smoke and water damage. Needed repairs would require demolishing the back of the church, installing a new roof, replacing interior walls and ceilings, putting up new vinyl siding, and the construction of a new steeple. All of the church's hymnals were ruined as well. Some important keepsakes were salvaged, including a Bible given to the church by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, who was a church member. The Bible, although smoke damaged, it was not burned. That Bible is a symbol of the congregation. They were glad to have it back. In a sign of resilience, the church's rainbow flag continued to wave unharmed, as if to fulfill those lyrics of the national anthem, "By the dawn's early light, our flag was still there." The rainbow flag continued to wave after the fire, and it was seen as a sign of better days ahead, and this too shall pass. As a temporary measure, the congregation held services in the town library. Ultimately, the church built a new building that was completed in 2014. The UU Church of Brunswick is a great example of resilience. Resilience is generally defined as the ability to bounce back from adversity. Both individuals and organizations, including churches and congregations, need to be resilient. Resilience is not the same as efficiency. Being adapted to an existing environment is the definition of efficiency. Resilience means being adaptable to changes in the environment. Resilience poses diversity and redundancy. The congregation in Brunswick, Maine, continues pursuing its ministries today in a new church building because of resilience. The congregation suffered both physical, emotional, spiritual, and financial loss, but they did not let the bad thing be the story. The fire was not the end of the story, only the beginning. One example of this resilience is singer-songwriter and congregation member Judge Caswell took wood from the original church and had it remade into a new guitar. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I have been running in place for the last couple of decades. I move my legs, but I don't get very far. There seems to be a lot of bad stuff out there. Gun violence is up, gun control is down, mental health issues and loneliness have increased, mental health resources have decreased, the environment continues to deteriorate, long-held constitutional and voting rights are under attack. All of these issues document the need for resilience. And why is individual resilience important? Individual resilience is important for a variety of social, educational, and wellness reasons. Change is inevitable. We are all subject to personal and professional challenges. We have social and economic issues. Stress and trauma are routine occurrences. The importance and benefits of resilience include improved learning and academic achievement, fewer absences due to sickness, reduced risk-taking activity, more involvement in community and family activities, lower rates of mortality, increased physical health, more positive emotions, less negative emotions, less depressive symptoms, greater stress resistance, and successful aging. There are two myths about resilience, and they need to be busted at the beginning. Myth number one is that resilient people are born and not made. In this perspective, resilience is viewed as a genetic trait, but resilience can be learned. Resilience training is often helpful for improving our resilient abilities. The second myth is that most resilient people are optimists. In extremely negative situations, optimists lose heart. Research from prisoner of war and concentration camps suggests that a sunny disposition does not equate with survival. Resilient people have very sober and down-to-earth viewpoints. Large challenges require a cool and almost pessimistic view of reality. People who are resilient possess three qualities: cool acceptance of difficult realities that they are facing, finding meaning in difficult times, and an uncanny way of improvisation or making do with whatever is handy. Facing down reality begins by asking questions. Do I really understand and accept my personal situation? And similarly, does my organization understand and accept its reality? It is easy to be in denial. Staring down reality permits us to confront extreme hardships. There was a large financial services company located in the World Trade Center that learned important lessons from the original 1993 attack on the World Trade Center. This company identified the risk of potential attacks on their offices due to their location in a large symbolic target. Based on this comprehension, senior management developed a detailed plan of preparedness down to the level of taking fire drills very seriously. On September 11, 2001, the company's vice president of security used a bullhorn to tell employees to stay calm and follow their fire drill procedures. The company also created not one, but 3 recovery sites where employees could meet and work and could continue if their principal place of work was unavailable. As a result, the company lost only 7 employees in the 9/11 attack. The second building block of resilient people is searching for meaning in tough times. People who are not resilient tend to portray themselves as victims and do not find any lessons in adversity. Resilient people find meaning in adversity. The discovery of meaning is the bridge from current hardship to a better future. Meaning makes the present tolerable and not overwhelming. Resilience training, or training in hardiness, develops meaning in people's daily lives. The most resilient organizations and people have strong value systems. Resilient people and entities also retain their values over a long period of time. Strategy and mission may change, but values are the highest priority and are unchanging. Values also serve as the test for making important decisions. As UUs, we have a strong sense of values like respect for nature, justice, equality, and love. Additionally, we have a covenant that articulates many of our values. These values should help comfort us in times of individual and congregational difficulties. In terms of organizations, values are more important and profound than having resilient people in the organization. The third building block of resilience is making do with whatever is on hand. This building block can be described by a couple of terms. The first is improvisation, and the second is a French term called bricolage, which means construction using whatever was available at the time. Bricolage is the maker space of life. Bricoleurs are tinkerers. They muddle through and imagine possibilities that others cannot see. Resilient organizations have more bricoleurs than non-resilient entities. Resilient organizations also value improvisation. All churches experience changes, some small, some large. These changes include changes in the direction of ministry, differences among strong-willed people, disaster-related challenges, changes in ministers. Resilience of a church and congregation is important to the church's survival, longevity, growth, and success. 5 factors describe a resilient congregation. A clear and compelling vision. When a congregation understands what is important and where it is headed, the church has purpose and energy. Church members are drawn to a collective vision. It renews the members' commitments to spiritual life. The vision needs to be focused on the future and not the past. Strategic foresight and scenario planning are helpful tools to create a vision. As a college graduate with a bachelor's degree in city planning, I'm a big advocate of planning and strategy. I always believe that whatever is planned is more likely to get done. One of my professional tools that I have always found to be helpful is called SWOT analysis, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Issues and problems can qualify in more than one category. For example, a threat can also be an opportunity. Once the SWOTs have been identified, we can develop plans and strategies to address the SWOT findings. One of the benefits of planning and preparation is that you are more capable of responding to challenges because you prepared for them. As a result, any damages should be reduced and your resilience should be greater. The second factor for a resilient congregation is a curious sense of humor. It helps to retain the spirit of curiosity and good humor as a congregation faces difficult issues. The third characteristic of a resilient congregation is a learning heart. Resilient congregations, ministers, and staff members need to be future-oriented and to seek new ways that the church can minister now and into the future. Resilient stakeholders need to be open to training, reading, and education linked to assessing, evaluating, and improving ministry. Changing environments require us to evaluate what to keep and what to change. Our mission, values, principles, and covenant remain constant while we make changes to accomplish our goals based on what we have learned. The fourth factor for a resilient congregation is a forgiving nature. It is helpful to be humble and accepting of the humanity and mistakes of our fellow church members and ourselves. The acronym Q-TIP, that's Q-T-I-P, is an acronym that stands for Quit Taking It Personally and is a way of creating a resilient environment for making improvements. We should avoid being tough on our leaders. Harsh words, disrespectful behavior, and alienation have no place in a resilient organization. Authentic apologies provide a useful first step in problem solving. The final characteristic of a resilient congregation is counting our blessings. As we confront crises and challenges, our perspective is enhanced when we also inventory the good things in our lives and organizations. The congregation's numerous assets offer a foundation to bridge the congregation from current challenges to future success. One of the most important forms of organizational resilience, including churches, is organizational compassion. Unleashing organizational compassion in the workplace and within a church reduces the immediate suffering of those linked to trauma. Additionally, people who have been traumatized but experience compassion respond from future challenges faster and more effectively. Likewise, compassion strengthens the attachment between the traumatized, their colleagues, and the organization. Participants in acts of compassion also contribute to their own resilience and attachment to the organization. A leader's ability to create a compassionate response throughout an organization directly relates to the organization's capacity to maintain high performance in difficult circumstances. Compassion accelerates an organization's capacity for healing, learning, adaptation, and excellence. Compassionate leadership often requires taking some form of public action, even tiny, to ease people's pain and inspire others to action as well. A concept closely related to resilience is grit. Grit is the combination of great stamina, a desire for constant improvement, enjoyment of what they do despite their sacrifices, and a strong commitment even when circumstances are difficult. Two major components of grit are passion and perseverance. Passion is the combination of your inner commitment to your craft and your sense of purpose. Passion is the belief that your work is meaningful and helps others. Perseverance is resilience in the face of adversity, blended with a deep commitment to continuous improvement. In order for an organization to be gritty, it needs to recruit gritty individuals and align individual members with organizational goals. In turn, those gritty individuals are organized into gritty teams. The gritty teams possess similar traits to gritty individuals. Those traits are hard work, learning, improvement, and resilience in the face of adversity, along with a strong commitment to purpose and priorities. Gritty organizations also require gritty leaders that possess passion and perseverance. Such leaders provide a visible and authoritative role model for everyone in the organization. In personal interactions, the leader needs to demand high standards, but yet be supportive. Gritty people view teams as not a loss of autonomy, but as a better practice of providing services. Teamwork is a positive rather than a negative. Gritty teams result in a gritty organization with resilience. Life is the most resilient thing on planet Earth. Our planet has survived radical climate change, seismic shifts, and meteor strikes. What does life teach us about resilience? Variety matters. Diversity is important. Genetic variation within and across species is the Earth's protection from potential threats. Biodiversity increases the likelihood that some organisms will be well suited to new circumstances, whatever the future may bring. Evolutionary biologists and system experts concur that the greater number of actions available to a system, the greater the variety of perturbations the system can handle. In other words, the smaller the amount of, if the range of strategies and your organization is seeking is substantially smaller than the amount of change in your environment, your organization will suffer turbulence. Resilience requires variety. In boxing, when you get knocked down, there are two potential responses. You can stay down and lose. Alternatively, you can slowly get up and still be in the fight. You can still win. At a minimum, you live to fight for another day and fight on. At Rocksteady Boxing, we fight against Parkinson's disease. One of the results of Parkinson's disease is that we fall down more often. At Rocksteady, we don't just box, we are resilient and practice falling successfully. For us, we practice turning falls into rolls and flips that protect our heads. In summary, you can start being resilient by practicing good self-care. Drink plenty of water, get enough rest, eat well, be active in the religion of your choice, seek out interactions with people, particularly people who are different from you. Now, more than ever, find issues and organizations that you are passionate about and become an activist. Resilience can be learned. It is not genetic. Resilience is different from optimism. Resilience is important and beneficial characteristic for individuals, teams, churches, congregations, and organizations. We have examined the qualities of resilient and gritty people, congregations, and organizations. Resilience is the personification of the old saying that what does not kill you makes you stronger. Thank you.